Ladies and gentlemen, basketball fans across the nation and around the globe, let us gather to reflect, not just on a night that shook the WNBA, but on a moment that echoes far beyond the final buzzer. In the heart of Chicago, under the bright lights and roaring anticipation of a fierce WNBA clash, the Chicago Sky faced off against the Indiana Fever in a game that will be remembered not just for the narrow scoreline, but for the seismic aftershocks that followed. A game that ended 71-70 in favor of the Indiana Fever, but it wasn't the scoreboard that captivated headlines. It was a collision, a confrontation, and a controversy involving two of the most talked about names in women's basketball, Chennedy Carter and Clark. Midway through the game, in a moment now replayed millions of times across screens big and small, Chennedy Carter made contact with Clark in what many viewed as a blatant cheap shot, a hard bump that sent the Fever's rookie star crashing to the hardwood. Initially labeled a mere personal foul, the incident was later upgraded to a flagrant one by WNBA officials after further review. But the aftermath was far from over. Clark, who has become both a beacon of talent and a lightning rod for criticism, did not retaliate. She didn't erupt or confront Carter. She stood up, dusted herself off, and continued playing the game, a quiet act of resilience that said more than any heated argument ever could. But as the cameras rolled in the post-game media room, silence became the dominant theme from the Chicago Sky. Pressed for answers, the team declined to speak in detail. Not a single player offered context or clarity. Not a word of apology, not a hint of introspection. Just a wall of silence from a team that had just witnessed one of their own deliver a moment that's still rippling through the sport. The silence came at a cost. Rookie sensation Angel Reese, no stranger to the spotlight herself, was fined $1,000 for her absence from post-game media obligations. The Chicago Sky were slapped with a $5,000 fine for failing to meet their duties to the press. Rules are rules, and in professional sports, accountability extends beyond the court. But Chennedy Carter didn't just sidestep the microphone. She flat out refused. "I ain't answering no Clark questions," she said bluntly, cutting off any attempt at discourse. A moment that could have invited maturity instead showcased defiance. And yet, the conversation didn't end there. Later that night, with adrenaline still coursing and the internet waiting, Carter took to Threads, the social media platform becoming a second battleground for WNBA players, to fire another shot. This time not physical, but digital. A verbal jab at Clark's skill set. An insinuation that the Iowa legend turned Fever rookie wasn't all she's cracked up to be. It's the type of post that might disappear quickly from a feed, but never from memory. The basketball world had already taken notice, and now, they responded. What started as a hard foul had evolved into something more complex, a cultural flashpoint. A moment where sportsmanship, rivalry, race, fame, media, and the pressure of stardom all collided. And at the center of that whirlwind stands Clark. Clark, whose college highlights rewrote history books. Clark, whose transition to the WNBA brought with it record ratings, unprecedented fan turnout, and a reinvigorated national spotlight on the league. Clark, who despite all that, has become a target, not just for defenses, but for resentment. Some say it's jealousy. Others call it growing pains. Some suggest Clark has been given preferential treatment, or that her meteoric rise has skipped steps others had to climb slowly. But no matter your perspective, the facts remain. Clark is here. She's playing. She's competing. And most of all, she's enduring. The shot by Carter wasn't just about physicality. It was symbolic. A challenge to Clark's presence, her platform, her perceived place in a league still fighting for its broader recognition. But here's the thing, real greatness isn't proven when you're praised. It's proven when you're tested. And tested she was. Clark didn't retaliate with trash talk. She didn't duck the media. She didn't lash out online. She did what true professionals do, she kept playing. She showed poise, grace, resilience in the face of targeted hostility. And in that moment, whether she scored a single basket more or not, she won something deeper, respect. Not from everyone, not yet, but from those who understand what it means to be vilified for simply being seen. This league, this beautiful, tough, demanding league, is growing. And growth isn't always easy. It comes with bruises, with controversies, with public flare-ups and private reckonings. But it also comes with leaders, trailblazers, People willing to take hits and keep moving forward. Chennedy Carter is not a villain. She's a fierce competitor, a skilled player, someone who plays with intensity and passion. But intensity without control becomes recklessness. And recklessness, unchecked, becomes a liability, not just to yourself, but to the league you represent. And make no mistake, Carter's actions didn't just impact Caitlin Clark. They impacted the sky, the WNBA, the culture surrounding women's basketball. Every push, every post, every silence or refusal to speak, it shapes the narrative. The WNBA is at a crossroads. Never before has it had so much attention, so many cameras, so much dialogue, and with that attention comes responsibility, to uphold the game, to honor the sport, to lift each other up, even when we compete fiercely on the hardwood. The league made the right call by upgrading the foul. They made the right call in enforcing media rules. But the real call lies with the players. Will this be a league where stars are protected, or where they're preyed upon? Will it be a league where rivalry builds greatness, or where bitterness burns bridges? Caitlin Clark has already chosen her answer. She walks it every game. For Angel Reese, for Chennedy Carter, for every player wearing a jersey this season, this is a moment to reflect. To decide what kind of legacy they want to leave. Because the fans are watching. The young girls in the stands are watching. And the future of the league is being written with every play. This isn't about favoritism. This isn't about villainizing anyone. It's about standards, accountability, and the culture we're creating around a game that deserves the world's respect. Let the game be physical. Let the rivalries heat up. But let us never lose sight of the line between competition and contempt. We are in a golden era of women's basketball. But gold must be forged, under heat, under pressure, and with discipline. It is up to every player, coach, and fan to shape what this era becomes. Caitlin Clark's name is already in the history books. But what happened Saturday night, the hit, the fallout, the silence, the online post, it's now part of WNBA history too. What happens next will define not just careers, but the soul of the league. And to Caitlin Clark, you took a hit, but you rose. Not just off the floor, but in the eyes of many. Keep playing your game. Keep answering with points, not posts. The world is watching, and greatness doesn't flinch.